In this series of videos, I will go over the robot template, which is a Grasshopper definition that I created that will help you create accurate robot programs with the robots plugin in Grasshopper. There are quite many things that we have to set and take care of in order for us to have the robot do exactly what we want it to do. And I've created many of these groups of components in Grasshopper that will help you do just that. We are not doing anything too special here, so the robot will simply be following this line right here, or this curve. However, there will be quite many things that are applicable to more complex and to more complex or also more involved tasks that you might want your robot to perform. We are starting in this video with a simple setup of our robot system, and this is basically to sync whatever is happening on the robot with our Grasshopper definition by setting a few different parameters in Grasshopper. So the first thing that we will do is to set the IP address of our robot. And in my case, this is 10.10.10.23, but for you, this will be different. So in order to find your IP address of the robot, you will go into your robot pendant, and in the top right, you will find the About button, and there you can find your IP address. For different universal robots, or so for older universal robots that are not the E-series universal robots, this information is located at a different location. For CB series universal robots, you will have to select the UR logo in the top left, and there you can also find the information that is presented in the screen. So find your IP address of the robot and set it in Grasshopper. Of course, you will also have to make sure that you're connected to the same network as your robot, but I will not be going over how to connect the robot to the network in this tutorial. The next thing we will set is the actual brand of, or not the robot brand, but the actual model of our robot. In this case, this is a universal robot UR5E, but for you, this might be different. Make sure that you're using the exact same model as you're using in the real world. Especially, it's quite easy to mix up the UR5 and the UR5E, or the UR3 and the UR3E, but it's very important that you choose the right robot, otherwise your robot might make motions that are not predictable. The next thing we will do is to set our start pose. And even though we haven't gotten into all of the different groups back here, one thing that we will need to set for our before we set the starting position is to set our simulation, which is the long slider in this green group, to 0, just to make sure that we're actually seeing our start pose. And this start pose is basically just the location, or a setting of joint angles of our robot that is comfortable for the robot in such a way that there is no obstacle close to the robot and there is no joint limit close by. And if we look at the robot pendant under the Move tab, you will find the robot joint positions on the right side right here. And you can see that all of these joint positions are not close to any joint limits. The base might not have a lot of travel left, but this is okay for now. But make sure that you're not close to any joint limits, and then you can basically set these values in Grasshopper. So move the robot to a comfortable position, and then copy these values. We don't have to be exact, so you don't need to add decimal points here, but simply set these values in this set start pose group. This is important because our robot has different ways of approaching each point. So you can imagine that the robot might have the same TCP, so the same point at the tip of whatever tool is attached to it, but the base is basically flipped by 180 degrees, and the elbow or the shoulder is on the other side, and the elbow is flipped as well. And if that is the case, if our Grasshopper definition has a different starting point than our robot is currently at, the robot will make a huge motion at the start of our program, and we really want to avoid this because this can pinch cables, hit obstacles and people, and it's generally bad practice. So make sure that you set a start pose by moving the robot to a comfortable position. And then simply setting the joint values that you can see right here in Grasshopper. All right, it's also good practice to model the environment around the robot. So, for example, if you have a 3D model of the workspace that you're in, or if the robot is maybe attached to a table or some other kind of structure, you might want to 3D model this and import this into Rhino and Grasshopper. So you actually have a preview of how the robot will move through space, and you can then also catch possible problems like collisions early on without actually having to risk the robot itself. But it's very important that you make sure that this is accurate and that it's also oriented in the same way. So really make sure that you've done this correctly and don't just assume it because you imported some 3D file. The last thing that we will do in this video is to set our robot TCP. It's quite confusing because TCP can refer to different things. Basically, there's a difference between what I call the tool TCP and the robot TCP. Both times TCP stands for tool center point, but it's what differentiates the robot TCP from the tool TCP is where we measure from. So for the robot TCP, this basically means the tip of our tool in base coordinates. So basically measuring from the base of the robot. Whereas the tool TCP refers to the offset from our robot flange. So from the last joint of the robot to the tip of our tool. And we really want to have our tool TCP be as accurate as possible. Otherwise, our robot TCP will not be accurate as well. And to do that, you will need to set your TCP in the robot pendant. And I would encourage you to use the measure function right here. I will not go over how you can use the measure function in this video. I've made a separate video where you can learn about the measure function. But I will do a quick demonstration of measuring the 4 points. But if you want an in-depth explanation of what is done, you will have to check the other video. We will set both the position as well as the orientation of our tool by first giving it 4 points and then aligning our tool to the base or basically the base coordinate system to get the orientation. So let me do this right now. All right. And now that we've measured our TCP, both in its position and orientation, we can use the get data from robot group that is on the left side, right at the bottom in this yellow group, to get the current TCP data from the robot. And we get 2 values, both the tool TCP, so the offset from the flange to the tip of the robot, as well as basically the overall point in base coordinates. And in order to use this in this definition, we will get the robot position, make sure there are no errors reported by this get robot position component, and then we can simply copy these values. You have to make sure that the robot actually updated these values. And in order to do that, you have to make sure that the TCP that you just measured was set as the default. You can see this by the by this green bookmark icon. And if your TCP is currently not set to the default, you can set it to default by selecting this bookmark icon on the right. So we copy data only by right-clicking this panel and selecting copy data only. And then we will go over here to this blue group in the middle of the Grasshopper definition and simply paste this right here and make sure there are no line breaks or no empty lines at the bottom of the list of numbers. And now we've set our tool on the robot. You can see that there's a quite crude 3D representation of this tool, which is just this extrusion to one point. Don't let it bother you too much, but it's just there to help you see where our tip of the robot is. And in this case, this is quite far because, as you can see here, there's a gripper attached to the robot and then a pencil, so the offset is quite large. So this might look a bit weird on the in Grasshopper, but this is, of course, correct. If you have a mesh, so if you have some sort of 3D printed or otherwise constructed tool attached to the robot, of course, you can add this as a mesh, but you have to make sure that you rotate it by 90 degrees. Otherwise, there might be an offset here. I will not go over why this is, but you have to remember that in the robots program, we always need to rotate our tool TCP and the mesh by 90 degrees. Otherwise, the conversion is not done correctly. All right, this is it for our setup. So we set our IP address, we selected the correct robot, and we set our start pose. We then use the measure function of the robot to get accurate data for our robot TCP, both the position and orientation. And then we set this, we transfer this data by using the get data from robot component and then set it in the tool definition group right here. In the next video, we will look at the orient component or the orient group down here that helps us move whatever we created digitally to the right spot in the real world so that we can then accurately draw or work at this location.